It's my privilege. A gentleman I ran across a few weeks ago is new in our community as far as our community stretching on into the Rotary area. After a conversation with Day, I asked him, I said, would you be willing to come and kind of spread your story to the Rotary, kind of the movers and shakers of the community on the services that you provide and that your establishment provides? So he agreed to that, and we're honored today to have Day Shelmire with us. I'll read his bio. He'll be surprised on this. I'm going to ad-lib a couple of things he's not expecting. But Day Shelmire is the new director of the recently opened UT Tyler-Longview Small Business Development Center. After earning his MBA from SMU, Mr. Shelmire began his varied career at NASA headquarters, where he worked on space commercialization and technology transfer programs. While at NASA, Mr. Shelmire identified a promising mapping technology, which he licensed to start his first company, which was Global Visions, Inc. Since that time, Mr. Shelmire started several successful companies, including Janie's Cakes, a Tyler-based producer of gourmet cakes. My understanding, this is part that's not in there, my understanding Oprah Winfrey has actually endorsed these also.
That's right.
That it's actually been on her programs before. And my understanding also, the first retail presence that they ever did was the new Fresh that is actually in Tyler, if you're familiar with that grocery store over there. Most recently, Mr. Shelmire was Director of Development for a Dallas-based investment banking firm and Vice President and Regional Sales Manager for Frost Bank. Mr. Shelmire became the Director of the UT Tyler-Longview Small Business Development Center in February of 2019. So let's welcome him up today. Thank you. And you have to speak kind of loud. We have some hard hearing back here.
Okay, I'm getting there myself, so.
Microphone.
We didn't get a microphone.
Yeah, I missed that.
Where is the
Put
microphone?
it again, I'll get.
Okay. I was going to say, if you all need our assistance and call our office number, the first person you'll talk to is Lindsay James, who is Randy's first cousin. Yeah. And you're, okay, that's great.
Yes.
She is the first employee that I hired at UT Tyler-Longview Small Business Development Center, and she's just awesome. So glad to be here today. I'm a former Rotarian. I was a Rotarian in Tyler for about 6 or 8 years back at the turn of the millennium. And I'm proud to say that one of the coolest conferences I ever attended in my life was the International Rotary Conference in San Antonio. I think it was around 2002 or so. It was the neatest thing I've ever, I think at the time it was the largest convention that San Antonio ever hosted. I think they had 30,000 Rotarians, and I remember I ended up in the back hallway after the big Saturday night with Glenn Campbell. Is this working? There we go.
Sir.
Glenn Campbell was he was back there, and he was receiving a check from William Kennedy Smith, $500,000. They had the famous and the infamous, standing in the hallway with me while he handed him a check for $500,000 for polio, the polio effort, which I understand about a month ago, I think there were only 3 people in the world that had polio last year. So, Rotary's doing an incredible, life-changing job there, and it's working. How many people have heard of a small business development center? So, a handful. It's about usually about a third of the people, and anywhere I go have heard of a small business development center. We're one of the best kept secrets in the country. Our mission is to provide at no cost business advising and consulting services to entrepreneurs and small businesses in order to help small businesses start, grow, and thrive. We serve entrepreneurs. Every small business development center has a footprint that they serve. We serve entrepreneurs and small businesses in Gregg, Harrison, Marion, Panola, Rusk, and Upshur counties. And those are the major cities in those areas, just for those of you who are not familiar with some of the counties a little further away from here. Longview, Marshall, Jefferson, Carthage, Henderson, Gilmer, and the greater uncertain metroplex. That was a joke. Uncertain. The farthest fringe of our territory. We have offices in Longview and Marshall to serve our counties. trying to make sure that there's no entrepreneur that has to travel more than 25, 30 minutes to get to us. So how are we able to do this? No charge. We are we're part of a federal grant program. This program is administered by the Small Business Administration. The SBA provides a third of our funding. The state of Texas provides the other third, and then every small business development center is hosted by a college or a university. In our case, it's University of Texas at Tyler. Host our we call them SBDC, so if you hear me say that, we're talking about my center. The one in Tyler is hosted by Tyler Junior College. And let me just back up and give you a little history of these things. There's over 1,000 SBDCs across the country. Every single county is covered by an SBDC. It has its roots in the Great Depression. And I know nobody here has lived through the Great Depression. Everybody's so young in here, and nobody ever saw or remembers the devastation that was brought on by the Great Depression. But back then, 75% of all jobs in America were provided by small business, and they got devastated. And so the federal government stepped in to try to help prop up small businesses with different programs and loan guarantees and different things like that. World War II came along, and small business had problems competing with the Fords and the GMs and the big aerospace companies in government contracts for the war effort. So long about 1950, the Small Business Administration was formed to provide government contracting assistance to small business, government advocacy for small business. Everybody's heard of the SBA loan programs that got started in the 50s. And around the 1970s, they realized there was one component that was missing from all the programs that the SBA provided to small business, and that's just consulting and advising. We've all heard of KPMG and PricewaterhouseCoopers, Accenture, which used to be Anderson Consulting. There's plenty of these big businesses out there that do small business consulting out there, but they're very expensive. Most entrepreneurs and small businesses can't afford to pay $1,000 an hour to have a team from Accenture come in and tell them how to start a business. And so there was a huge segment of our business, our jobs producing small businesses out there that weren't not able to afford small business consulting. So in the 70s, the Small Business Administration started this grant program. It started with 7 SBDCs, and like I said, it's expanded to over 1,000. There's over almost 50 SBDCs in the state of Texas alone. Nationally, SBDCs work with about 1 million businesses a year. So it's a huge program. And one of the most, many of you, if you're familiar with the SBDC, might have been familiar with Kilgore College. They ran the SBDC for 25 years out of Kilgore College in Longview. And so UT Tyler is essentially just taking over their footprint. So we were closed for about 2 years. We're back up and running. I'm the director. We have one business advisor. We're getting ready to hire a second one. We have Lindsay, who's our office manager, so we're getting back up and running, and we're in the Austin Bank building there in Longview on the Loop. We're in the Business Development Center in Marshall there on the square. So basically, like I said, our services are free of charge to anybody that walks in the door. We turn away nobody. As a matter of fact, we had a lady come in yesterday who wants to start a restaurant. Never started a business before in life. And people just don't know, you may be a good cook, but you don't know the first thing about starting a restaurant. What do you have to do? What are the steps involved? So we help people like that. One of the bigger projects we're working on right now is we had a guy come in and he's trying to get financing to buy a hotel. So he's looking for a $4 million loan. So we go, that runs the gamut. Small business, If you want to know what the definition of this, every industry has its own definition of what a small business is, but usually we look at it as any business that has less than 200 employees we can work with. And again, there's nothing too small, and we'll tell you, if there's something that's too big for us to handle. But so far we haven't run into that yet. We're simply, our measures of success, the Small Business Administration, they audit us every year, and all they care about are 4 things. They want to know how many counseling hours we provide out there, how many jobs were created by those counseling hours, how many businesses started, and how much capital was infused in the businesses that we start. That's it. That's all they care about. They want us to be face-to-face with entrepreneurs and small businesses out there providing counseling services. So how much time? Do I have an hour and a half? Is that
Close.
Okay. I'll give you some statistics that are kind of funny. There are over, you wonder why small businesses are so important to our country and our economy. And it's because our country was started by small businessmen. There are currently over 30 million small businesses in the United States. 30 million. Large businesses, there's only 20,000 what the SBA considers large businesses. So 30 million small businesses, 20,000 large businesses. The 30 million small businesses employ almost 60 million people. 60 million people. So what does that tell you if you do the math? That the average small business has 2 people. 1 to 2, maybe 3 people in the average small business. And there's a lot of them out there. That's 60 million people that are employed. That's almost half the workforce in the United States, so 48%. That sounds like a lot, but that's been dropping. The last 30 years, that number went from around 60%, and now it's, for the first time in a long time, it's down below 50%. And that's kind of a scary proposition when you think about all these sort of monolithic companies out there that we hear about today. Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Walmart, and whatnot. The last thing we want to do is lose any more small business jobs out there, because small business is the heartbeat of this country. And small businesses pay over 40% of the total payroll in this country. So, there's a real reason why the federal government has a Small Business Administration to try to help these companies survive, start, survive, and thrive. And that's the reason why we're here. Like I said, we don't have an advertising budget since we're a federal grant program. That's why a lot of you haven't heard about us. The only way we can get the word out is by coming before civic leadership in communities like Gilmer. I've been through here a few times. I talked with your county judge, Tuff Teller. Hilarious guy, but every community in East Texas, it's been really refreshing. Everybody's so supportive of your communities growing and thriving. And again, it's getting businesses established around your courthouse squares and helping them along. And the way that you can help those businesses is by letting them know that they have resources out there like us, who at no charge and no cost to them, they can come get business coaching. And it's like, everybody knows that, the difference between, New England Patriots and the Cleveland Browns, aside from Tom Brady, but it's coaching. They have great coaching. Same thing with business, we kind of look at ourselves as business coaches. And so anybody can come to us. I was working with a machine shop the other day. They've been in business 50 years. They've been very successful for 50 years. They walk in our door and they need help. And you don't think that an established company like that would come to somebody like us to get help, but what they needed, things have been changing so much in our economy, and their sales have been recently flat to declining. And they're starting to think that they're kind of losing out on some business that they could be getting on the internet. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, if you're not on the internet, you don't have an established presence and people can't find you, you're going to lose out to that guy who, you know, the purchasing manager Googles, you know, brass flange, and some other company pops up, they're going to pick up the phone and call them. So, you know, they need some help in that way. We're able to step in and help them, you know, figure out new markets and new customers and new ways to get the word out there. How many people feel like starting a business is risky? Let's see, we're showing. I'll give you the statistics on starting a business. So usually when you look at it, the tipping point of a small business becoming successful is usually, they say, around 3 to 4 years. If a business can make it into that 4th to 5th year, they're considered successful. And it says here the statistics, this is in 2015. Excuse me, I got this cut off. So 70% of small businesses that started make it to year 3. So 70% of all businesses that start make it to year 3. 62% make it to year 4. And 56% make it to their 5th year. So it's better than a coin toss. I mean, yes, it's risky in a lot of ways, but it's better than a coin toss. Almost 60% succeed to their 5th year. What are top 10 reasons why businesses fail? And this is a survey that was done. And 42% of businesses fail because there was no market need when they started their business. 29% ran out of cash. 23% didn't have the right team in place. 19% got beaten by their competition. 18% pricing and cost issues. 17% user-unfriendly product. The next one, product without a business model. The next one, poor marketing. The next one, which is unbelievable, ignoring their customers. You know, wow, you really, I'm supposed to pay attention to my customers. And the last one is mistimed product. And, you know, when I look at a list like this, first thing that pops out at me is that, you know, everything on this list is avoidable or correctable. You know, there's nothing terminal about any one of these things that cause business to go out to fail. And one of the things I always tell people who walk in, you know, if I've got bad news to deliver to them, because, you know, not every business idea is a good idea. And sometimes we have to, as Virgil Connor, my business advisor, he goes, sometimes we have to tell people their baby's ugly. You know? And you know, the best time for a business to fail is before the business starts. And that's what we can help people do. They come into us and they have this great idea for a business, and we can sit down and we can help them write a business plan. We can help them do their projections, their projected cash flow, profit and loss, balance sheet, income statement, all those things. And if it's not going to work on paper, probably not going to work in real life. And wouldn't it be better to walk away with a little free advice and be told it's not going to work? Or, better yet, if you change these things, you know, we don't think your Malaysian restaurant selling, you know, fried crickets is going to work very well in Gilmer, but you might find a market for that in Dallas. There's a lot of Asian communities there that would eat fried crickets. You know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily a bad idea. It might be bad timing or the location. There's a lot of things that we can help them before they rush in and make some huge mistakes. About to wrap up here. So what do Apple and Walmart have in common?
They're huge.
They're huge. That is, so think about the beginning of these two companies. What do they have in common?
Started out little.
They started out as small businesses. Exactly. Apple was started by two guys in Steve Jobs' parents' garage. Walmart, if anybody's been to Bentonville, anybody been to the town square in Bentonville? So Sam Walton's ice cream shop is still there on the corner with his old pickup truck in it. It's one of the coolest little museums. If y'all ever get a chance to go to Bentonville, you gotta go to his museum and then go to Crystal Bridges, which is his kid's art museum there, but it's incredible. But both those companies started as small businesses, and both of them became the largest businesses in the world. Walmart was the first one. Apple is now what's considered the largest business in the world. They both started as small businesses. And don't laugh when I say this, because people have laughed when I've said this. The next Steve Jobs or the next Sam Walton might be right here in Gilmer. Very possible. And so we need to nurture those folks. We need to give them all the resources that we possibly can to become successful, to start that next Walmart and Apple right here in Gilmer, Texas. That's it. Thank you very much for having me. Any questions? It's
They
free.
allow you to put skin in the game or have your own Shark Tank.
We don't do a Shark Tank. We actually don't do any loans.
Okay.
And, but we do help people, we do loan packages for people. It's not tied to SBA loans. We can help people with conventional loans. We can help people who don't even have a loan. But, you know, we certainly work with the SBA. We certainly have a lot of folks, a lot of resources to help anybody that needs an SBA loan or a conventional loan. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Now, you do business plans and all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
You might want to expand upon that to help entrepreneurs do a business plan and all that kind of stuff, and all that research and all that.
Soup to nuts, we absolutely, you walk in, if you have the idea that you want to start a restaurant or a catering, if you want to start a catering business, I think you need to go talk with Double J. They've been in business for 50 years. I mean, they know a lot more about being successful caterers than I do, so go talk to them about catering. But if you want to start a restaurant, we can help you go from, what's the first step? Go to your local county clerk and file a DBA. I need, how much money do we need? We can help step you through that process. We can help you write your business plan. We can help you put together the package, the loan package that your banker would want to see. Help you do all your projections, your profit and loss, your cash flow, all that sort of stuff. A lot more than I can remember right now, but thanks for asking the question. We can absolutely help you with your business plan. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, we have any more announcements we need to make? Yes, ma'am, Carol.